What's going on, guys? Zephyrnix here. So it looks like HellHound has made another video response, so I figured, I ain't doing nothing. Might as well go ahead and take care of it really quick. You know, light work, if you will. So check it out, right? Number one, I noticed a couple of things right here. Number one, if you look at the thumbnail on his screen, it actually says, "Amazing enough, I don't give a shit." Yet at the same time, you made a previous 12-minute video, and this one's a 9-minute video, but you don't give a shit? I'm just saying. It sounds kind of fishy or stupid, one or the other. Mostly stupid. What else is going on here? So the first thing he does is this. I mentioned in my other video how I do not want to be associated with Sony fans of any type, right? So then he goes ahead and says, he looks into my past videos, and it's funny too. His past videos back in like 3 or 4 years ago to see one video where I said, what I love about Sony. And here's the thing about that, brother. Of course I'm going to make a video about what I love about Sony. You know why? Because I get props where props is due. Despite the fact if I like or don't like the company, the fact of the matter is that if the company does something right, I'm going to call them on it. I'm going to call them on it no matter what. If it's right or if it's wrong, that's what I do. So if Sony is doing something right in my eyes, I got to let you guys know that Sony's doing something right in my eyes, and Sony doing something wrong, I'm going to let you know too. Just like I do with Xbox, just like I do with Microsoft, and just like I do with Nintendo. Any rate though, on to the video here. Check it out.
Kidding. Anyway, that's not the point. This is a response video to Mr. Zephyrnix, who apparently said he has exposed me for not knowing anything about video gaming. So we're gonna go with the first thing. How can I call you or say that you're a PlayStation 3 supporter or a PlayStation supporter? I recorded that video a couple times and there's different takes, and I meant to say you insinuate to be a PlayStation brand supporter.
Then it's time to call damage control.
From the first time you bought Killzone, or you bought a PS3 and you played Killzone 2, and you were acting like it was, ooh, this godsend to gaming, and I remember looking at the video going, oh my god, dude, are you serious? And you were just like, like you were trying to show everybody that you were just so hooked on the game. It just, you know, to me it just seems like you do it sometimes to try to get support from the PlayStation fans.
Right, you know, because, you know, the only other logical explanation could be because of the fact that I actually do enjoy playing games. But I guess that's way too far-fetched for PlayStation fans, huh? It's a shame, really. Fact of the matter is, dude, is I like Uncharted. I like Killzone. I like Little Big Planet. I'm all about them games, and I want to play the games. I'm not interested in any fanboy groups of any kind who sit there and praise or hate an organization, which either way don't really give a fuck about them. Just saying, you know.
Who you say don't throw you in with the Sony fans, because the only ones that like Sony fans are Sony fans and Sony. Everybody else hates them. I would think I would have to argue with you because I've seen a lot of Xbox fans, so I would have to argue with you and say it's fanboys in general.
Right. I guess we should tell Toys R Us that, huh? Because Toys R Us recently had a video, I believe their top 10 videos about, you know, which toy to get for this holiday season. Xbox was on one of them. And the Sony fanboys got so mad they ran over there and disliked it and put hateful comments and racial slurs on there. So much, in fact, that it looks like, Toys R Us was forced to take the video down.
That being said, let's talk about the video game magazine point you brought up. You said that video game magazines were filtered back then, that they were, everything was filtered. They were basically lying to us, and
yeah, despite what the wife says, man, omitting information's not the same thing as lying. You know, stop thinking like a woman and pull the tampon out.
There's nothing there. You want to compare gaming journalism back then to gaming journalism now, where you got reputable companies, publishers like Microsoft, hiring reputation management firms to sit there and professionally troll people and their opinions and trying to convince them that their product is good. We're talking about a time right now in gaming journalism where they're buying reviews or buying featured stories. How many times can you go to GameSpot, and this is just an example really quick, where you can click on the featured story and it will be Xbox.
Wait. So you go to GameSpot. So let me ask you something. This website has already been accused and found guilty, mind you, of the fact that they were accepting money for advertisements in order to get their games a better review, only for someone to go against that who worked for the company, Jeff Gernsbaum, and he get fired. And that was years ago, and yet you're still going there? Well, that would not be anyone else's fault but yours. I'm just saying. Also, I looked today, and if you look in the lower left-hand corner, as you can plainly see, GameSpot actually has a PlayStation 3 game as a feature story.
And it will be Xbox for 2-3 weeks. E3 came out this last year, 2013. Sony comes out, whooped ass, and this is irrefutable, and it is factual.
Is it really non-refutable? Because myself and many other people actually said that the Sony E3 press conference for 2013, I think it was quite boring. In fact, the only good part was the fact that Sony took a jab at Microsoft. That was literally the only good part. I'm not the only one who thinks so either.
I gotta say, one thing I do feel is that, like, the conference did feel underwhelming at times, mainly because they pretty much revealed all of their big launch release games at the event, at the first event. So we were expecting a lot more. Not that they don't have more coming, but they're obviously not ready yet. We don't know what the other big Sony studios are obviously still working on something. But you know, it's kind of like they stretched themselves thin a little bit for E3, just a little bit, because it definitely was underwhelming and seemed boring at times. No denying that.
Now, starting off, I thought that the PlayStation 4 conference was pretty boring. Granted, they had games, they were showing games, but they were showing a lot of games that I just was not interested in.
Now, I'm not saying the conference was bad. No, none of us are saying the conference was bad. But most of it was, in fact, boring. And it wasn't until the last part where it really got exciting. Let me put it to you this way. The only information that we got, the only key information that we got about the PlayStation 4 was that they were going to do exactly what Microsoft did with the Xbox 360, and that's to get a whole bunch of indie developers to develop on the system. That's exactly what, yeah.
And Microsoft, in my mind, is the bad for the game industry. Their business practices are horrible. They've literally trained you guys, they've literally trained their customers to give them real money for stupid shit, for freaking avatars.
Okay, so this one gets stupid to stupider. Now, number one, okay, you're complaining about how Microsoft has the avatars or whatever, but Sony has way more of that than Microsoft has. Have you been in PlayStation Home? You can buy, there's a bicycle there that you can't even ride. All it does is just sit there in your house. Oh, and there's House, Clubhouse, all kinds of things that you actually have to buy on PlayStation Home. So, dude, what are you talking about? Number two, and this is most important, when it comes down to that stuff on Sony's platform, Microsoft platform, you are not forced to buy any of those things. So what does it matter?
For downloadable content which nobody plays on.
Once again, no one's forcing you to pay for downloadable content. So what are you talking about?
People talking about how Titanfall's gonna be this awesome thing, but you look at it, it will freaking degrade, and after a while, people aren't gonna be playing that game. So you're gonna be putting all this money into a game you never own, and a game you're never gonna play outside after a couple of years.
Is that where we're at? Is that what we're at? So what you're telling me right now, is that you are hating on Microsoft because Microsoft is providing you with DLC that you do not have to pay for on a game that you will eventually not play anymore. That's what you're telling me. And only Microsoft has this. Sony doesn't have this. You have never seen a game on the Sony platform where they provided you with DLC and eventually you stop playing that game. That has never happened on any other system but Microsoft, and they deserve your stupidity. They deserve your hate. That's what you're telling me. That's what you're telling me. Are you serious? We are at that. What? What are we doing?
I used to play Halo 3 religiously. I used to play Halo Reach religiously. Now, I don't even touch those games. And when I go back, guess what? It's hardly anybody's playing online anymore. Not like they used to in the beginning.
Well, in terms of the Halo comment, if I had to take a guess, I would assume that they're playing Halo 4. What with Halo Reach being the predecessor, I would assume they went on to the next game. That would be the easiest logical explanation for all that nonsense that you just spewed. But I'm going to end it here. And the reason why is because of this. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen to this one part that he said, and I want you to let it marinate for a second here. He was saying that he's hating on Microsoft because of a game like Titanfall, and he used Titanfall as an example, right? Where he will be provided DLC, and Titanfall is a game that he will eventually stop playing. That's what he said. That's what he said. He will choose not to play the game, and all hate goes to Microsoft because he made the choice not to play the game. And you want to know the best part about this? The best, juiciest part about this, right? Titanfall is not even a Microsoft game. It's an EA game. It's Electronic Arts. So you're hating on a company based off of a third-party game. What? I don't understand why. This is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. What the fuck is going on in this community where such... I don't understand this community anymore, to the point where people say such things and you let them slide past your lips without giving it a single thought about how, yeah. You know? And even at the end of the video, my whole point was talking about like his integrity, his intelligence on, as he said, this is my hobby and all that nonsense, right? Yeah, we went ahead and questioned that. And in the end of his video, he even said he was wrong.
But you want to attack me because of something I said of the then Nintendo 64. I meant the prototype.
Damage control.
I've gone through so many generations. Everything has a different code name. Nintendo, how with the GameCube or the Wii was the Revolution. I think the Nintendo GameCube was the Dolphin, and I think the 64 was something else. Or when Nintendo hired Sony to make the CD add-on, it was actually for the Super Nintendo.
Yes, that's somewhat correct. The fact of the matter is that the CD-ROM drive was supposed to be created by Sony for the Nintendo system, to the point where they were supposed to create two versions of it. One was a regular CD-ROM version. The other was supposed to be a all-in-one system that can play CD-ROM games as well as Super Nintendo games. The problem is with what you just said is that what you said at the end contradicts what you said at the beginning. Prototype of the Nintendo 64? There was no prototype of the Nintendo 64 that Sony got their hands on. Because by then, when that particular thing came into fruition, Sony was not trying to talk to Nintendo. I'm just saying, you might want to go ahead and learn your history, dude, because this shit is pretty much Sony and Nintendo 101. Seriously, you talk about the history of the PlayStation, and yet apparently you do not know all your history of the PlayStation. Call it like it is. You guys have a good night. Zephyrnix out.
Captain Ultra here, and sometimes when I'm saving the world, things happen. That's when I call damage control.
What's your damage?